Welcome to the Explainer. We talk a lot about the cloud around here, right? But today, we're looking directly at the engine on the ground that makes the whole thing scale. We're talking about the hypervisor. Let's unpack the technology that literally makes modern infrastructure possible.
So, here's a question for you. Can you truly understand cloud computing without knowing what a hypervisor is? Well, the short answer is no, not really. If you skip the hypervisor, you're missing the absolute crucial layer that turns raw metal into the scalable cloud environments we all use every single day. Without it, you don't even know the ABCs of the cloud. It's the architectural necessity underpinning almost every modern deployment out there.
All right, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, cloud computing's core secret. Then, meet the hypervisor. After that, the apartment analogy. Next up, bare metal versus hosted architectures. And finally, your next steps.
Let's dive right into Section 1, Cloud Computing's Core Secret, the vital implementation layer. You know, before virtualization became the standard, we had a massive efficiency problem. Picture this. You dedicate a hugely powerful physical server to just a single application or user. And what happens? That app might only consume, say, 10% of the CPU. That leaves 90% of your very expensive computing potential just sitting there, completely idle. It was a logistical and financial nightmare. We were looking at massive CapEx, capital expenditures for hardware that was chronically underutilized. We urgently needed a way to break that rigid one-to-one relationship between physical hardware and end-user needs and shift toward dynamic resource allocation. Which brings us to Section 2, meet the hypervisor, the ultimate middleman. Okay, so what exactly is it? At its core, a hypervisor is a software middle layer that allows you to create and manage multiple virtual machines, or VMs, on a single physical host. Instead of that rigid one-to-one ratio we just talked about, the hypervisor comes in and slices that physical server up into multiple, highly independent environments. This means each of these VMs can run entirely different operating systems and execute totally distinct jobs, while all simultaneously coexisting on the exact same piece of physical hardware. Pretty brilliant, right? Now, to pull this off without constant system crashes, the hypervisor acts a lot like an operating system, but it's engineered specifically for hardware abstraction. It dynamically allocates your critical resources, your CPU, memory, networking, and storage. Let's say a virtual machine suddenly needs a burst of processing power or extra RAM. Boom, the hypervisor instantly routes it right there. It essentially guarantees that every single VM gets exactly what it needs to execute its distinct tasks, completely and cleanly separated from everything else running on that server. Moving right along to Section 3, the apartment analogy, bringing the cloud down to earth. I love this analogy because it makes the concept so easy to visualize. Think of a massive physical server like an empty plot of land. Building one giant house for a single person on that prime real estate is an unbelievable waste of space. So what do you do instead? You build a 5-story apartment building to maximize efficiency. In this scenario, the physical server is your plot of land. The individual apartments inside the building are your virtual machines. And the landlord who actively oversees and manages the entire property? Well, that's your hypervisor. And think about how a landlord operates. Their job is to make sure the building's shared infrastructure is distributed fairly and reliably. Apartment 1 gets its electricity, Apartment 2 gets its running water, and so on. Well, the hypervisor does exactly this for your hardware infrastructure. It ensures VM1 gets the necessary CPU cycles, and VM2 gets its allocated memory footprint. The different tenants, which in our IT world are entirely different guest operating systems, live side by side in total isolation. They don't step on each other's toes because the hypervisor is there systematically keeping the chaos at bay. All right, Section 4, bare metal versus hosted, the two architectures you absolutely need to know. In practice, there are two distinct ways you can actually set this up. Type 1 is known as bare metal. This runs directly on the actual hardware of the server. Because there's no underlying operating system sitting between the hypervisor and the silicon, it has an incredibly tiny attack surface. That makes it highly secure, exceptionally fast, and really it's the absolute standard for massive enterprise environments. Then we have Type 2, or hosted. This runs right on top of an existing operating system, kind of like the Windows or Mac OS environment on the laptop you might be using right now. It's incredibly convenient for personal development or commercial testing for sure, but there's a trade-off. If your underlying OS gets compromised by a vulnerability, unfortunately, your hypervisor and all the virtual machines sitting on top of it become vulnerable too. When we look at who is actually building these, technological landlords of the cloud, there are a few titans dominating the industry you should definitely know. We're talking VMware, Microsoft, Oracle, and Citrix. These are the architects defining the virtualization space right now. Understanding their distinct hypervisor ecosystems like VMware's ESXi or Microsoft's Hyper-V is basically a foundational requirement for any serious cloud engineer looking to design or manage modern infrastructure. So definitely keep those names in mind.
And finally, Section 5, your next steps, moving from theory to practice. Honestly, the absolute best way to solidify this architectural concept is to get in there and actually build it yourself. So here's your mission. Go install Oracle VirtualBox on your personal machine. It's an excellent, highly accessible Type 2 hypervisor. Just try acting as the landlord of your own hardware for an afternoon. Spin up some virtual machines, allocate the memory, assign the CPU cores, and just get a tangible, hands-on feel for how hardware abstraction actually behaves in real time. It's a real game changer when you see it working. Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder today. Now that you understand exactly how the landlord of the cloud operates, what kind of virtual apartments will you build first? Maybe a dedicated Linux machine to practice your deployments? Or how about an isolated, safe sandbox for some security testing? The underlying hardware is entirely yours to command. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy building!